Hey guys, so I got the RAM mount for the dash in the Jeep JL, and I just want to show you a quick install on this. Basically what comes in the box is this metal plate, and then this plastic piece that attaches to the top. I thought it was all metal, but this is their, pretty heavy duty plastic material. And then a bunch of screws. So all of these screws go into these little holes, as you can imagine, and it just tightens down. You have to do that yourself. Here are the instructions that it comes with. Basically just the 3 parts included, part types, and then just visually how to install the bolts, pretty self-explanatory. And then instructions on removing that mat, installing and screwing in, and then you're done. So what I'm gonna do is, for these little machine screws that are Phillips head, I'm gonna use, and it says that they are a 3/8 inch Phillips head machine screw. So I'm just gonna set the torque on this to 10 pounds per inch on this little torque screwdriver that I have. You absolutely don't need that, but I just want it to be consistent, and I don't want to over tighten anything. I don't know if 10 pounds per inch is appropriate for this. I just looking for consistency. So comment if you think there's a better torque specification for this, if necessary. So I am also gonna double up with some Loctite blue, just to hold it in place. I'm not gonna use the red because I don't know, maybe this will break someday and I need to replace it and I need to undo those screws. So, just a little fastener on those screws will be helpful. One thing I was curious about was, I don't know why they didn't just, have this from the factory all, put together. I don't even know why it's necessary to have these, a billion little bolts, that you get screws that you got to put in. Maybe it's just aesthetics. I don't know if there's an actual functional purpose, or maybe this is like a design that they're looking to build off of. But yeah, just kind of curious about that, if anyone knows the answer. Also, I think there's this little plastic piece right here. It says clip after installing. So we'll remove that once we get done putting it together. Lastly, I wanted to mention the reason why I bought this one was because it didn't require any additional, screwing into the plastic of the dash. It was basically plug and play with the 2 bolts on either side that come with your vehicle. And I'm curious to see how supportive it is. I think this long lip on the front of it is supposed to kind of put pressure on the top of your dash, so that way when you have accessories hanging off, that's where it's applying majority of the pressure. Okay, so there we go. The RAM mount little plate is put together, and very easy. I was whining a little earlier about having to do it. I don't know why the factory didn't do it, but it took me no time at all. Again, I would recommend the blue Loctite. Those screws on the other side, you can see it's all pretty flush, and I did remove, prior to installing it, that little clip that was right here. It was easy just to twist off. If I'm really picky, I might even sand that down a little bit, but I'll probably just leave it as it is. All in all, this looks like a great plate. We're gonna get it installed in the vehicle in a second, but I want to show you, how you would put on a RAM mount to this rig. Okay, so you have your little ball mount solution. It's 3 parts, so it's this little rubber gasket or plastic rubber kind of gasket that attaches to the ball mount, kind of like Legos, slips right in. And then it's the little bolt part right here, and you'll see how this installs. This is plastic, and metal. So some RAM parts are rubber, some are metal. And so all you do is you just take this horizontally, put it in that little slot, slide it either side you want it to go, and then once you're satisfied with the location, you just turn it clockwise, and that bolt will snug it up. And you just go snug. No need to over tighten anything. Recommend just doing it, by hand like this, because you can't really over tighten it by hand. And then, you can put anything else you want in here about this little GoPro attachment. This one isn't the Ram one. I got this one off of Amazon. So yeah, you know, you just slip it on just like that. Slide it anywhere you want. And then, actually, you wouldn't want to do this with it all mounted up because you got to turn the whole thing. But it will snug up. It's easier with two hands, obviously. And you'll have your device mounted just like that. So yeah, let's get going on the install in the vehicle. Alright, so the first step in installing this mount is to remove that little rubber trim mat that you have right here on your dash tray. And then there's going to be the two bolts on either side. Use a Phillips head screwdriver. And I apologize for the bad lighting, I'm in a garage. And you just undo those bolts. They're not very tight, just snug, so keep that in mind when you're reinstalling. And they weren't in very far. I sure hope that, you know, these are a strong enough anchor point for this mount. So once you have them removed, place them in your cup holder. So then you'll take your mount. You can see I just left the ball mounts attached. You just place it right in the tray. Then you take your Phillips head and take the bolt, find the hole, and reinstall. There you go. And I just did them snug. I'm gonna come in now with my torque screwdriver. I'm gonna set it to probably just 10 pounds per inch, and I'm just gonna snug these up. I think I could do 15 pound per inch, but I think I'm gonna play it safe for now and just see how 10 pounds works. Again, just snug if you don't have one of these. There we go, and as easy as that, it's installed. If I take my GoPro mount, you can just snug it up right there. And you can see for the GoPro mount, I use the short ram arm. I was disappointed to find out the short arms are actually made out of this plastic. It is a tough plastic, which is nice, but the regular arms are metal. I'm sure it's just because they're shorter and they're, I don't know. So that looks pretty good. There's a good amount of space between the camera and the GoPro. I would recommend the short arm for GoPros. For my phone mount, I actually did something a little different than most people do with the RAM mount. So I like to use the magnetic, I think that's pronounced Soshi, mounts for your phone. It comes with the metal plate you put on the back of your phone case. And there wasn't an adapter for that to the RAM mount, so I just, you know, bought a little RAM mount plate, and I just basically adhesived it to that plate and just zip tied it down just for some extra support. And then I bought a regular arm, a ball joint, and then another regular arm to kind of get it out over and down here, so that way I don't have my phone, you know, up in the view of the windshield. I might get the long arm just to bring it down a little bit farther. Because I don't like to have my phone up in the windshield for a couple of reasons. You know, there's potential that, you know, it's in your field of view. And then also, one time I got nabbed for using my navigation, and I got a ticket for that. So if I can get this, you know, farther down, you know, out of view, it's easy access from the steering wheel. And I can, you know, click on navigation if I'm not using, because I never use my display there for navigation. So that's what I have right now, those two attachments. You can move the ball mounts, you know, wherever you want them, except for in the middle, since there's that gap. And yeah, you put any number of things on there. I could tell that this is actually pretty sturdy. The plate in the front, like I mentioned earlier, you know, kind of, since you're gonna have accessories pulling it forward and down, that plate's extended so that way it can kind of brace against it. But I was worried that if you know, you're driving and you hit a bump, this is gonna, you know, jolt up, which still feels pretty sturdy. We'll see how it goes. I'll mention in the description, you know, an update on how I like it over the next couple weeks or months. And yeah, that's pretty easy. Our quick little install and review of the Ram mount.